All right, hello, and welcome back to our portal step-by-step video tutorial on how to manage your school website. Don't forget, in our previous classes, in our previous videos, we've discussed about how you can set up your schools while using our portal, and of course, how you can, do the academic settings, which includes, setting your current section, setting your current terms, and of course, you know, adding making sure that your levels are intact, adding your classics from lower class to the higher class, and of course adding subject for each of those classes you've created, right? So in this video, we'll be talking about exam slash CBT management, where you can actually set CBT exam for your students, either an assessment CBT or either a first CA or second CA, and of course the terminal exam. All right. So I haven't gained access to your admin dashboard. So you locate that exam management at the right side of your side menu. Look at it here. So when you click, you have a drop down where you see hard assessment, hard question, manage assessment question, manage exam question, and of course manage set assessment, manage set exam, and upload question with Excel. So now just a quick one on this one. Now hard assessment, that this will be maybe if you need a particular assessment for on a particular maybe uh, topic that you've actually covered maybe in a time, so and you want to make an assessment based on that. So this is where you use, and of course if you have a text, maybe it's first CA, second CA, so it also, this is also where you'll be doing that. But I just want you to know that either hiding assessment or hiding exam, it is just the name you give to it. So you can use hard assessment for exam. You can also use a hard exam as well for CO for assessment. So it just depends on the name you give to the the CBT you are setting. I hope you get that. So but in this one now, we want to try and see how we can add exam. So if you're adding exam, you choose what? Hard question. But if you're adding assessment, you choose what? Hard assessment. So each of them will actually take you to the same place, but it just depends on the name you give to it. So but the only thing that you will not be confusing about is that if you had assessment, don't expect to have the questions under exam question. Try to get that. So if you had question on under assessment, you don't expect to see the questions under the exams. And of course, if you had questions under exams, you don't expect the question to be under the assessment. That's just a difference, but it depends on the name you give to the the CBT you are having. So I really can see the display of the hardened assessment. So let's click on that hard question to and see. So can you see this one actually show hard question, exam question, and you see the platform is almost the same, but it's just the name. So the question you had under the exams will not go to assessment, and the question you had under assessment will not go to exam. So just make sure that you actually choose the right one. But the only difference is that the name you give to actually determines what you're actually doing. So now let's go to, okay, I said we're adding exam now, so we click on what? Add exam question. That will take us to hard exam question. So to in order not to waste our times, I think I've already added, in our previous video we had like two subjects for basic 1 and basic 2, which is CRK, and CC, which is what's it called, cultural and creative art and Christian and religion knowledge. And previously I've also added like two, which is basic science and physical health education. So in order not to waste our time, and I believe we've all known how we can add subjects to all our respective classes. So in this video also I've previously added like two questions under the exam, which I choose physical health education, because we already have a student in basic one, right? So now we have, I think I have two questions on physical education, physical health education for basic one. So let's go to, let me see if you can still add one. So let me show you how to add exam. So let's pick the one. So is that the following are the benefits of cleanliness, except. So let's see if this we can make use of this. So I just copy the exam. So I think one of the question I had before has instruction, so I don't need to add more instruction to this. I'll just go to, so I think it's the primary, then the class. We're actually using basic one because we've already started one student in basic one, so we want to make use of that. So physical health education, we have physical health education. So the question I've copied, then I'll paste it. So you can see it prevents bad odor. So the option is said it prevents bad odor. I can copy that. If I scroll down, I have the options. So option here, I'll have it here. Then this one also said it prevents uh let me use, okay, let's copy this. It prevents smelling. Let me use smelling. It prevents unhealthy body. So it prevents unhealthy body, and of course it prevents illness. So the option, but what the question says, except. So let me say none of, okay, none of the above. I think we have something like that. So let's move, we choose none of the above. So now, can you read the question now? It said the following are the benefit of cleanliness, except we said it prevents bad odor, of course. It prevents okay, I've used a unhealthy body here. It prevents unhealthy body, of course. So, but don't forget, we don't need all this one. I just make use of them. Now, the option here shows that this is the option because all of the above are actually the correct one. So here we have select the correct option. So the correct option is what? The correct option is none of the above because it prevents bad odor, of course, it prevents unhealthy body, and of course it prevents illnesses. So none of the above is not the right answer. So this will be the answer. Then the right option there is what? Option D. So here it says enter correct answer in word. Then I will paste this. So if this question require a particular image that actually describes the questions, then we choose the image here. And if it doesn't require any image, then you click add. I hope you get it. So the question exam has been added. So don't forget, I said I've already added like two questions before. So in addition with this, we have three. Now that means that we've added our exam question. So the same way you do for this is the same way you do for either if you want to add assessment or you want to add CA text or Fox CS or CA. So it depends on whatever you want to add. So is either it is an assessment or an exam. So if it is an assessment, you go to add assessment, and if it is exam, you go to add questions exam. So now we've added exams questions. All right, now, and of course possibly maybe while we're adding the exam questions, we made a mistake or some mistakes, then we can manage the exam questions. You understand? You can also manage the questions you've already had it if you see that you've made, a mistake. So you need to check the questions level, the criteria, and of course it is basic one, primary level, basic one questions, and for which subject, which is a physical health education. So let's check. So can you see? Like I said, I already added, you know, two before. So with the additional one that I just added, making a three now. So let's say for instance, you have issue with any of this, you can just click this down and you click on what? On edit. You understand? You can click on edit and then can you see? These are the questions we've added. Can you see? So you can make any, you can edit them and then you add instantly. So why you choose the, sorry there. So why you choose the correct, option and then you go. So that is how you can, make changes to the questions you've already had. I just, back so that because I'm not editing anything there. So now I won't check the exam question are intact. There's no any corrections. You understand? So that is, if there's any correction, you go under the manage exam question. But now that we've sure that there's no any correction, then we now go to manage set exam. Don't forget, we've not set the exam, but just for us to set exam, you can go and set the exam by clicking on it. If you click on it, it will show you the previous exam you have already set, and of course the additional one you want to add. So this is not our own, you understand, because this might be done possibly from those who have been using the platform for text running, you understand. So what we want to create is different from this one. So we now go to set new exam. I hope you get it. So you click on set new exam. Now choose level, primary level, then you choose the class. The class, don't forget, is basic one because we already have a student registered in basic one in our previous. So the subject, we have physical health education, then we'll click check now. So clicking on check now, it will show you that these are the subjects. These are the subjects. The questions under that particular subject, which is a physical health education. Now I want to set exam based on this one. So let's assume you have 50 questions where we are just using this one as a text for 3 questions. Now we have 3 questions selected, and if there are many, you can just click on select all questions, right? I hope you get that. Now I will click on those questions, maybe 10, 20, 30 questions, 50, depends on what you want to use. So here we just added 3 questions to text the way it works. Now you can now say what set exam with selected questions. How we get that? So even if you select one, you can still set exam for the selected question. But here we select the 3 questions and then we click on set exam for the selected question. Let's click and go. Now here is where you give your exam a name. Give your exam name, maybe first time exam 2020 or any name you want. So let's assume we have a, let's say, can we call it mid midterm. Midterm exam. Let's say midterm exam, of course. So enter the exam minutes. Let's say it is 20 minutes. You understand? Enter the exam minutes. So let's say 20 minutes. Then the total of the exam, the questions, we have 3. So if it is 40, you put 40. If it is 30, you put 30. And if it is 20, you put 20. If it is 10, you put 10 here. And of course, you can set the starting date exam. Today is let's 20th of August. And then the ending date. This means that if this particular date is not yet, you know, then even if the student log into the dashboard, this exam will not show in the student on the student dashboard until this particular time is reached before the student can see the exam appearing on their dashboard for them to take the exam. And of course, the end date too. Let's assume the exam end on 21 August. So as soon as this date has ended, the student will not be able to write this exam anymore. So going back to the last one, we have exam cutoff mark. So let's say the cutoff mark, maybe your own question is 10 questions, 20 questions, 30 questions. Maybe each of these questions carry two marks. That will be, if it is 20 questions and each of the questions carry two marks, that will now be 40. Can you understand? So this my own now. Let's assume it is it's always, I need to add about 30 questions, and if it is 30 and I have 60 for exam, that means each of the questions will have 2 marks. How we get that? So the system will do the calculation by itself. So let's assume this exam cutoff mark is 60. So hiddenly, the system will know that each question will now carry 20 marks. How we get that? So how we get that? So the total question, the total question here determines the cutoff mark. So here I have 3 questions. In your own case, you can have 10 questions, you can have 20 questions, you can have 30 questions. So here I have 3 questions. So and I choose my cutoff mark to be 60. So that means each of my questions will now be 20. In your own case, if your exam is 10, if your question is 10 and your cutoff mark is 60, how we get that? So that will now be 60 divided by 10. So that means each of your question will now be 6 mark. If your total answer, question here is what, 20, and your cutoff mark is what, is 60, that will now be 60 divided by 20. That means each of the question will now be 3 marks. You get it now? So if your exam question is 30 here and your cutoff mark is 60, that will now be 60 divided by 30. So each of the question will now be 2 marks. I hope you get that. So let's save now and go. We'll set exam for for the so exam is successfully set. Can you get that? So let's go back and see if we have the exam set. There's a way where we said manage set exam. Let's check if we have the exam already set. So we also check for the level that we set the exam for. It is a basic 1, and then of course physical health education. We have okay, where we go, we have exam question, we have manage a set exam. Okay, so we have manage set exam. So you can see here we have third time, which is not the one we actually enter, and then we have midterm exam, which is on physical education based for basic 1 class. So the reason why we created this exam for this basic 1 is that we already register a student in basic 1. So this exam is ready for this particular class, and as an admin or as a teacher, you can actually test run to see how the exam will work. Look at it. We have 20 minutes. The exam starts August so time, and then ended on this, and then total mark contains, and then so when we click on this, then you can preview the exam to see if everything is working perfectly. Preview exam here means you want to do the CBT yourself and see how it works. Can you see? So the first question, the instruction, the first question, don't forget, we have choose correct option A. Choose correct options from A to D. The first question said brush your teeth with a dash. A nail? No. A stick? No. A toothbrush? Of course. D, none of the above. So C is what is our correct answer. When you click, then you go to the next question. The following are what are the benefits of cleanliness, except it prevents bad odor, of course. It prevents unhealthy body, of course. It prevents illnesses, of course. None of that. So this is wrong. Then this is the correct one. So we move to the next questions. So always drink dark water. Drink dirty? No. Drink dry? No. None of the above? No. Drink clean water. So this is the correct answer. So I haven't done finish. Even if the time is has not elapsed, you can submit. So if we submit, so the system will say ask you. Now don't forget, in our previous video we discussed about a place whereby we said allow students to see their exam score instantly. So if we have previously on that particular functionality, we should be able to see what we score here. So we click OK. Now can you see? Congratulations. So at the beginning we've not enable us to see the exam score instantly. We will not see the score. So can you see now? Congratulations, your score is what? 60%. That means I got all the answer right. So I hope you get that. So this is how you set your CBT. Now on the student side, let's check if the student will see the exam. Let me check. Let me be sure of the student first. I think we had a student uh, called Salahuddin Abdul Karim. There's a student called Salahuddin Abdul Karim. So we have is it 2022? Okay, yes. Primary section. Let's check. I just want to be sure of the student, then we need it because we need the admission number, of course. So we need the admission number of the student to log into the portal. Don't forget the password is 00126. So, and of course the student can change the password by him or herself. So let's check demo, right? Demo. So it should be demo slash portal slash portal. So to take me directly to the student portal. I'm going to the student portal now. So the exam number I copy, I'll paste it. Then the password 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I'm signing in now. I'm signing in now. Wow, okay. So this is the student portal. As you can see, we have assignment, you have take assessment, online exam, and take exam. Let's see if you have exam available for this student in that particular class. Let's see. So can you see? Physical education basic 1 20 hours, August 20, and mark contains, you have it to be what? To be 60. Can you see now? Start now. So as this student, I want to start the exam now. The student will still ask me, are you ready to start the exam? I will say yes. So I'm starting the exam now. Don't forget, we already test run for the exam. So now I'm doing the CBT for this particular student. So the following are what are the benefits of the cleanliness, except, so I already know that none of the above is the correct because all these one are correct except this none of the above. So I will pick this and then we'll go to the next. Then question 1, brush your teeth with a dash. It's of course it's not nail, it's not stick, it's not none of the above, and of course it's what? Toothbrush. Then I will go to the next. You can always drink dark water. It's not dirty, it's not dry, it's none of that one, clean water. So I haven't done, even if the time is not yet elapsed, I can still submit. And if the time is has elapsed and you have not submitted, the system will automatically submit itself. So congratulations, you have successfully submitted exam. So here it shows that for students, we didn't allow the student to, to see the exam by themselves. So let's check if truly that is right or not. Let's check here. Oh, I went to subscription. Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. So that's not where I'm supposed to click on school settings. Don't forget. My hand is just moving. I'm supposed to go to school setting. So on school setting, let's check. Can you see? So allow exam score to show to student, this to show immediately because it is no. That's the reason why we are not seeing your scores here. But if this one is yes, choosing it to be is already yes, then we should be able to see our score just as we saw the score when I was testing the CBT as an admin. How we get that. So this is how you know you had your exam, set your CBT exam, and of course, conduct an online CBT. Now,